It's the leading narrative every time I talk to this guy in 2024. Dominance. He's going to look to continue his dominance. August 16th, Hollywood, Florida. He's back home in Florida. He's the one and only, the 2023 PFL champion, on his way towards another journey of gold, the one and only Impa Kasanganay. Impa, how are you, sir?
Yeah, what a nice intro. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let's just jump right into it. So you're taking on Josh Silveira in Florida, and it's a great story from many different angles. But you have the gym versus gym down there in Florida. You have the rematch, but you also have the Impa Kasanganay story. And what a fight in Utah and Salt Lake City in your last fight. I
Thank you.
mean, it was incredible. How do you feel just your overall body of work from Saudi Arabia all the way to Utah heading into Florida for this year?
Man, I'm grateful. It's a grind that you love. So it's not like it's not overbearing. It's not um excuse me. It's not it's one of those things you're like, man, like I'm this is what it takes. These are things like you prayed for. So the overall body of work, man, I look at it like I could always be better, or I could be sharper and I will be. That's my focus. So I'm challenged by this overall body of work because I know I can still do so much better. From the Johnny Eblen fight to, missing some parts in that fight that made it closer than it needed to be, though I won that one. The Alex Polizzi fight, learning from the mistakes from the fight before and saying, all right, I'm not missing. I'm going to finish this guy. Jacob Nadeau, another champion, solid fighter, very good, beast of a fighter, tank of a human being. And I said, there's nothing. We're not going to the judges' scorecards here, But I still made some mistakes that fight too, and my expectation of myself and my standard for myself is to dominate every single second, every single moment of the fight, in and out of life. So I've been, we go through life and like really reflecting and refining myself, and going into this one, versus Josh Silveira or if it was an alternate, whoever, doesn't matter the opponent, whatever blank canvas is, focus is dominate better than I ever have, set a higher standard, pass that standard, and then learn from this one and keep getting better. So, looking forward to claiming this victory. At the same time, too, by the body of work, I'm not pleased by the body of work this year. I'm not ungrateful. I'm not destroyed by it, but I know I can still do so much better. So it drives me.
That should make fans of yours very excited if it if you know you can take it to a whole nother level. Let's talk about Josh Silveira. This is obviously a rematch from 2023 championship where you claim the gold. You've become a better fighter. He's grown as a fighter. Outside of your self challenges, the things that you'll challenge yourself to do inside the PFL Smart Cage on August 16th, what do you expect out of Josh Silveira when you guys meet again?
I expect Josh to be the best version of himself. Josh is a solid fighter. He's somebody who's coached well. I know he's going to want to make adjustments from the fight that he had most recently. He want to make adjustments from the fight that we had because, to me, it's not a rematch. This is a whole new hunt. It's a whole new season. Last year's behind us. It might as well have never even happened. First thing is, like I always say, burn the ships. And how I look at that is what title, what belt? The only one is the next one. And, I think he sees it as, a rematch or however he may see it. That doesn't necessarily concern me. I just know that he got better. He's a better man. He's a good man. He's got a good dad, a good coach, good team. Like I really respect him. And then he carries that with him and he wants to get some people say they want to get their get back or he wants to get to that title. For me, I could care less if it was Dovlet, Rob, or Josh, or some guy right down the street. I take them out, and that's it. I don't care what their motivation is. I don't care what their discipline is. August 16th, I finished my hands raised. The job's not finished. I still have one more fight. Then after that one, go get that next fight too. So it's on a warpath, and it's a blessing to do what I love. And mm, I don't really care what their improvements are. I just know I finished my hands up.
You obviously are a very busy man, very intelligent man, but you're someone who understands like the world around you, right? So you'll understand where I'm going with this question. In American sports, if you get the number one seed, you're the very best of the best. PFL has its own unique format. and the point system, all of that. You got the number one seed, coming into this playoff season. It's different in combat sports because you're the number one seed in the NFL. You could get away with having a bad day. A bad day in the office for a combat sports athlete is usually not the same as the bad day as an NFL quarterback. So, do you hold any? I guess the question is pride, or how do you feel about being the top seed in a sport like MMA in a playoff format like PFL?
I'm in the right spot. You know, Like, it didn't matter to me when I was challenger. Last year we say challenger to champion. I always looked at it like I'm forever the number one seed. Like you don't know about me yet, but when it's all said and done, you'll know who the champion is. Same for this season. It's like forget the number one seed. I'm here to be champion. When things like when the dust settles and it said that I'm that number one seed, the bad day in the office is not allowed. I don't let myself have it. And for me, it's like you always make it happen. You always let something. I guess that's what I learned in business too. You could have challenging days in business where something happens on an account, money's supposed to come in at this time, or you made this right decision, but now you're waiting for it to come and see it through. It's not a bad day. It's part of something you for it to take and move forward. And a lot of people could say that Johnny Eblen fight was a bad day, but it wasn't. I'm not claiming the victory. And I learned a lot more about myself. And every single fighter that I take out is going to learn, going to feel that lesson. And the same with this next one with Josh. I mean, you saw the Polizzi fight and the Doe fight. Now this Josh fight. Keep continuously refining. So being the number one seed, it's like it's what I've always seen myself as. Before I ever even stepped on a mat, the day I decided to do this, I said, "I'm gonna be a champion." That's that.
I,
Be the best to ever do it. That's that. So it didn't matter. And I think that's what you say about great companies and great teams and people. Like I think the number one seeds that can get away with the bad days, they don't care. But if you look at the real top prospects, the top guys drafted who became Hall of Famers, let's say the NFL or the NBA, like LeBron, they obsess and they think that they're never allowed to have a bad day, even in practice. I just saw a quote about LeBron practicing. They were talking about how hard he practices at every single moment with intensity, with focus, and vigor. It doesn't matter what's going on in his life. And imagine that guy's from Akron, Ohio, who knows he didn't know his dad, who knows his life. People just see the money and think somebody's life is good. He's one of those people who's like, and that's why he's dominating. He's 40 years old,
yeah.
and you see guys like Tom Brady's. We see them like he seems like he's always supposed to. And he wasn't necessarily the number one pick, but he became the top player in the country in the style of football. And the way he just has that drive to dominate every single and kill every single enemy along the way. Like I relate to that. Look at Michael Jordan. Look at all the greats. I mean, Steve Jobs. You talk about Bill Gates. You talk about all these great business, sports. See, doctors, you just see people who are high operators, SEALs. It doesn't matter what it is. They they don't allow themselves to ever have a bad day. They look at every challenge as good, and that's how I see it.
And the reason I asked you that is because I didn't get to ask you this. So I wanted to make sure I asked you today because I didn't get to ask you in Utah. At Media Day, you kind of drew a comparison towards your mindset and Jaylen Brown's mindset of the Boston Celtics. And that was fresh off of the Celtics winning the NBA championship. I was like, Impa's so smart. He's striking while the iron's hot. But I do want to say, let's take my personal fanhood of being a Celtics fan out of it. I truly think I've never seen a better comparison or attachment from a pro fighter as great as yourself and another NBA player out in the spotlight or another pro athlete in the spotlight like Jaylen Brown. You are unapologetically yourself. You speak on everything, and you're not just a master of your craft, you're a master of the world around you. What is it, or what was it that maybe you've seen from Jaylen Brown that maybe influenced your mindset just towards bringing that attachment of who you are and maybe who he is and how you guys collab together?
Yeah, man. Well, it's funny. I don't really follow basketball. My brother played. My brother's a college basketball coach, University of Tennessee. He played high school basketball and college basketball high level. And I never really followed other players, but I heard of Jalen Brown. But until recent, as the Celtics got highlighted throughout the year through playoffs and going into the NBA championship, we kept talking about Jalen Brown and like how he's paid well, and it kind of goes against the he doesn't conform. He's like a nonconformist to how everybody wants him to live his life. He's super. He's done so well. Like his education, his accolades and academics are amazing, and what all he's been doing in the community. And that for me is awesome to see. And also him being another African American, I think that's just cool because he's setting the standard of what's different. I think that you can learn from different cultures, and sometimes, sadly, I would say like sometimes you see a lot of people in my culture, football, basketball, rap, this, which is still cool. Like I support you, but they stop it at that. And then you see it happen to other fighters too. Not saying just African Americans. You see happen in anything. You walk into the gym, just focus on fighting, and that's all you are. And I like a guy like Jalen Brown because he's like, nah, it's fine. They try to still diminish what he's done because they said there's no way he can do that. Where you see some other athletes, they praise that, but he's just doing so well. So there's no way you can do that well and do great at what you do. And I mean, I've had that battle. Like I've seen how so many times like, oh, why would you focus on school? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Like I'm gonna have my PhD with. I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna do great in business. I don't want to just sit in the room because I was an athlete. You sit in that room and you respect what I do. I want to sit in that room because you respect, like, I can come up with the best strategy. We're talking about merger and acquisitions. I can break it down from every single vantage point you could ever think of and create new ways. Like, I don't see why you should sit here as an athlete and just be as a person. Like, yeah, you might not have friends. Some of my friends don't even see me. The guys at the house don't even see me. Sometimes I feel like my brain is spinning, like, and things are going a million miles a minute. But that's why when I go into the fight, it's peaceful because I learn how to manage chaos every single day. I have an amazing team who's patient, who like really cares for me. Like I know Joanna, I've talked about her almost every interview now, but she really has been a blessing. And it's like it's, it's her patience, her focus, the way she pushes every single day. Like, you don't have a lot of people like that. Alan Diamond, like always checking in, always like, what do you think about this? What about that? What about this? And it's like being patient to see it through. My friend Andrew, talking about Dieter and Jonathan Logan, all these different people who like been in my life who helped me make the right decisions. It's like it's cool to start seeing the fruits of the labor come together. I want to see a guy like Jalen Brown. I think he's at such a high level on a very well marketed sport that and the things he's doing outside of it, he's going to be set up forever, and he's setting a new standard. I want to be part of that. So when I see guys like that, that's why I do what I do. That's why I told the kids at the gym yesterday. I was like, I don't, if you guys fight or not, like, I only care if it's what you're called to do. But I want to see everybody in here own a business. I want to see everybody here get their degree. I want to see everybody in here, whatever goal you have now, come back with it better. And then the next day, come back with it better. Because, like, you doing these interviews, fighting, world titles, money, I also want these kids to call me and be like, yo, coach, I just passed the bar exam. I'm going into like one of the top law schools, and now I'm going, or sorry, they finished law school, they passed their bar exam, and now they're going to one of the top firms or attorney, working with the top attorneys across the world. And then another kid saying he's about to go to medicine. He never thought that he could. That to me is a lot more important. But I think the only one of the ways that's possible is when a guy like Jalen Brown or like myself or other athletes show, hey, you can do a lot more with what you have. Like I've seen Kevin Durant do it, LeBron, Brady, A-Rod, Michael Jordan, um, Tiger Woods. You start seeing all these different athletes, and like it would also too be cool because there are so many um, little girls out there who think, oh, it's not just a male athlete, the guy who's just crushing it. There's some women out there crushing it too, and they're still top athletes. It's like one guy told me, it's like you're obligated, but you're not obligated to the ones coming behind you. And I take that obligation seriously. I was at the gym this morning, training clients at 6 a.m. I train at Kill Cliff at 10. I go back and train. I train a kid this afternoon, like an hour north. Then I go back down 2 hours south to train. Man, I was telling them I could do, if I just focused on me and made it just about me, probably still do school. But I would just literally ride motorcycles, surf, and like I'd probably start partying. Like just because it's like the fighting part is not the hard part. Like I would literally train every day. I love what I get to do. If I did nothing else, train no clients, train nobody, I wouldn't have any arguments. I wouldn't have to like, bro, do this. No, do this. But then I would have nobody else that I can really encourage. Like it's my ministry, and I see guys like Jalen Brown like that. It's like I never spoke to him yet. We never had any collaborations yet. Maybe one day if that's the right thing. But when I see him, I'm just like, man, thanks, bro, because you get it. And you're doing it, and it's inspirational. And he's crushing it in his industry too, which I think is very important.
And I think another narrative is he didn't listen to the narratives, right? Just like you didn't listen to the narratives. She signs the biggest contract in NBA history, and everyone in basketball is like, that is the worst contract of all time, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, let me just go win a championship and finals MVP in year number one of that contract. Yeah, I got it. So I feel like silencing the outside noise is something that both you and him do well.
Thank you.
Different businesses and avenues. And I think to go back to what you were saying, if you only focus on fighting, I don't know if you would be the Impa Kasanganay that sits in front of me here today. Because I think
Appreciate you.
having your hand dipped in all these different pots, and I think that allows you to be as great as you are. Which leads me to this: it wasn't something I was going to ask you on fight week, but and I know about your great team, and I do want to also say, Joanna, you're probably fantastic. I'm not just saying it because she's helped set up interviews, but fantastic working with her and you on fight week was absolutely amazing in Utah. But how and just what is the mindset when you're 2 days out from a fight and you agree, or 3 days out from a fight, you agree to go in Salt Lake City and help run a local boxing class? Not only is that professionalism beyond belief, but it's super honorable, super respectful. Most fighters turn everything off, and you still found time in fight week to give back. Why was that important for you?
I say like, what's the point of being a champion if you don't build other people up? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Um, I told Joanne after this fight, I'm gonna disappear and go to like probably Charleston, South Carolina, and sit on a beach for a little bit, think back. But I'll be back and forth working. Like I'm already thinking about like, nah, if I leave now, there's still more things I need to do. So we're good. But one, thank you. Like it was doing the seminar with Impa Refinery in the Ultimate Combat Training Center in Salt Lake City. Every single day we're doing something. Every single day you have your love life, you have your family, you have your business, you have multiple side careers, you have uh, training, you have film study, working out. God made you a lot more complex than people give themselves credit for. I think maybe some fighters even damage themselves because they try to shut everything down when their life is not like that. Your best practice, your best fight in the world, usually not because you shut everything out, because you still did it while everything else is going on. So you have to be able to do things even when you don't feel good. You have to be able to do things even when life is hectic. Like, let's say you broke up or your partner cheated on you or your heart was broken, which can affect a lot of people. There's a Bible verse that says, above all else, guard your heart because everything you do flows from it. Now, you go into training so you can't train anymore. You go into training so you can't box, you can't strike, you can't grapple. You might have a challenging day, but you still get better that day. You still better box, you still better move your feet, right? If I if I if I didn't do that seminar or like had the opportunity to do it, it would be like me not being true to myself. It would be one of those things where I'm just like every single day I'm doing. I can get into anything. I'm not gonna just sit in the house or the apartment all day or the hotel. I'm gonna do something productive and give back because that's what we're here on this put on this earth to do, to serve those around us and serve God. So for me, it's like it only made sense to. Like I still had hours in that day. What is that 1 hour of me doing a seminar, getting connected, but still talking about things that are fight related, keeping my mind still focused on the center thing. I only look at it as like if you want things, I kept saying this before this year. I was like, if you want things to be done different, things to be different in your life, you have to be willing to do things differently. And that's what it was for me. Why be like everybody else? I don't want to be. Like the champion is the one who sets the new standard. Nobody copies last place. Nobody copies third or second place. They might take lessons from them, but even the fighters, you guys like Josh, whoever, the people who came after, I want them to take this and put the. Everybody needs a Joanna. Everybody needs a Joe. Everybody needs an Alan Diamond. Everybody needs Ryan, a Cliff, a Peyton. You know, a Nana. Like you need people in your life who are way better at things than like in the areas that I'm weak in. They're great at, and they help me get stronger there. And I pray that I can help them too. If you have a powerful team like that, it would be an insult to them to not maximize all the different opportunities. Because as much as they help me, my job is to serve them too. Like I can't just go be like a lack of a better word, an asshole running around the world. And then Joanna's like, it is PR, but let's not make that happen. Or you know, have Joe running around chasing after me because I just want to go crazy and go on these like raging binges of just out of his party or getting in fights. Because I love to fight. I tell you, somebody's like, you want to fight right now? Okay, but that's probably not a good idea. And
Well, I'm not asking that.
yeah, so I look at it like when I get to do positive events, moments, fight week is a work week. You know, it's the week where you work. Everything is surrounded around work. I don't care how tired you are, because after I can go sleep for a week and nobody can bother me. But I don't. My biggest thing is like this is like personal, I guess I can say. But my number one goal in life is yeah, it is to be a world champion. Keep doing that as I will continue to. I want to be a great dad and a great husband, and a great son-in-law, a great brother-in-law, a great sister, to great brother-in-law, and make my parents proud. So like right now, like at 30 years old, I know I grind, I grind, I grind, I grind, I push when whenever God blesses me, when I'm at that time or that age, married, family, kids, they'll be living a life where they're like, wow, we have all this. Like, how do we have this? Or even if they're ungrateful at the time or whatever, they can like look later on in life like, because when I was 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 24, 25, all those ages, I was pushing. I was staying until the gym till 1 a.m. I wasn't hanging out with people. I was to myself. I was in my car all day. I was cleaning. I was pretty much living at my car, literally living at my car, and then pretty much driving from spot to spot, making phone call after phone call. I think I had 7 phone calls this morning before practice. And I'm like, it's not even 10 o'clock, but I'm grateful because I knew things weren't going on. So the seminar one, we do it professionally, we handle it. Man, look what's going to happen when we have 2 seminars on a fight week, or a seminar on fight week and one the day after, and we're earning and we're doing well, and they can just keep putting it back into the team. Everybody, Joanna's business looks great. Ryan's videos look great. Um, Joe's logistics program looks great. And I get to be a part of helping serve that because we help one another. And then I look at my kids one day and say, hey, you are never lacking without anything. And it comes from a time in my life when I was a kid, we lost everything. I slept on the apartment floor. I remember one Christmas, my dad and I, uh, so well, long story short, somebody stole some money. And we were like looking everywhere and oh, maybe it's in the thing, maybe it's in the dumpster, right? And I was like a cousin of mine. And we were walking by, we're like, okay, we're gonna check the dumpster, but we knew it was a lie. And he's walking with me. I'm looking at my dad, but he's standing so strong through it all. And he says, "Hey, you see those over there? They're like these recycled like beach chairs, kind of look at they like." So we brought them back, and I'm like, "Merry Christmas," right? And I remember as a kid thinking to myself, "I'm not gonna let this happen," you know. I'm not gonna. I have this green and brown blanket which my parents threw away, but at that time it meant a lot to me, and that was all I had for Christmas. We got off the floor. We had these little air mattresses. I look at my brother and sister every day, so I'm gonna work so hard at everything I do one day so that they never have to go through that again. My future kids never have to go through that again. My future family and anybody that can help them never has to go through something like that again. And you can only have the right people around you. So when I have seminars, when I have things like that on Fight Week, for me, it's like you never know what the belt might mean to a kid. Like I'm not a person like you'll never see me just carry my belt everywhere. No, that's not me. But for moments like that, I will. For different conversations and interactions, like I'm here to use the platform that I've been blessed to be on to be a fighter in and give it back. I don't care for it. I don't even think, even from the UFC, I don't think I own one thing that I ever had from that. I give away almost all my shirts. I think I have like one jacket. Most of my fight kits from PFL, I just keep giving away the gloves because I want somebody to hold it and like, no, they can do it too. And that's what it is. So like I would do 3 seminars on the fight week if I could. I'd do one every single day. Like, and I believe we get to that point. And then on fight week, on fight day, I'll go finish that opponent, and like set that new standard. So that's why that's why I do it. And it the champion gets to set the new standard, and that's what I'm here to do.
Well, that fight day will be August 16th in Hollywood, Florida. Impa Kasanganay. That was beautifully put, man. I think that's the best way to wrap this up, put a bow on it. Got a little extra time with you today, and I really appreciate it, man. It was an honor to cover your fight live in person in Salt Lake City. Planning to get down to Florida and do it again here on August 16th. I'm so excited for this fight. I'm happy it's in your backyard of Florida, and I'm happy we're one step closer for you continuing this journey. So thank you, man. I draw a lot of inspiration from you as a person, not just as a fighter. So, and I'm
Thank you,
not
man.
saying that because you're here. I'm saying that because there's a certain aura when you're around, and your mindset is different and it's special. So, I wish
Thank you.
more combat sports athletes thought like you. So
Appreciate
thank
you,
you for
man.
the time,
Thank you.
man. You'll take on Josh Silveira August 16th, Hollywood, Florida, PFL playoffs, ESPN, ESPN Plus. Thank you, Impa.
Thank you so much. God bless.